recognize our Veteran of the Month, Mike Malone. And Dennis will give you some background of your service in
Oh my gosh, look at that picture.
military.
Who is that kid?
Who is that?
It's my honor to recognize our Veteran of the Month for this month, Sergeant Mike Malone. Mike Malone joined the United States Air Force on December 27th, 1963. He attended basic training and advanced individual training to become a weapons mechanic, ultimately becoming a weapons mechanic maintenance supervisor. Sergeant Malone made several short stints in Vietnam, totaling 1 year and 3 days of Vietnam service. Mike was honorably discharged on December 15th, 1967. In addition to his military service to our country, Mike has pretty much committed his entire life to service of his community. He served on the Ball Ground Volunteer Fire Department from 1978 to 1990. He served on the Ball Ground City Council from 1989 to 1990. Mike also served in the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office for 26 and a half years, retiring in 2008 as the Chief Deputy in Cherokee County. Mike is a longtime Ball Ground resident and is married to Sue Malone, a lifelong Ball Ground resident, and together they have 4 children. So Mike is a friend to many of us. He's a friend to me and as well, and we wanted to recognize Mike for his service to the country. And I'm going to step down and read a proclamation from the mayor, and we can recognize you right now. Come on up, Mike. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. I told my dad worked for him for many, many years, and he would have really seriously embarrassed him. That's the way he was. He was a practical joker. This is the City of Ball Ground proclamation for Veteran of the Month. Whereas in 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the first Veterans Day proclamation calling on our nation to pay appropriate homage to the veterans of all its wars who have contributed so much in the preservation of this nation. And whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, the words of that first proclamation still ring true. Let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly on the seas, in the air, and on foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting an enduring peace so that their efforts shall not have been in vain. And whereas we remember with somber and grateful hearts those men and women who have served the United States of America with distinction and valor as soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and offer our sincere prayers for those who continue to defend the principles on which our nation was founded. And whereas the state of Georgia is home to more than 753,000 veterans and tens of thousands of our nation's military families, we're proud to recognize our country's veterans and extend our appreciation of our citizens to those who wear the uniform of the United States forces and serve on the front lines preserving freedom and liberty. Now therefore I, A.R. Roberts III, Mayor of the City of Ball Ground, do hereby proclaim George Michael Malone. I know the first name, George.
Didn't want you to know.
As Veteran of the Month for the month of July, and extend to him our sincere appreciation for his sacrifice and contributions he made to our great nation and community. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of this city to be affixed this 13th day of July, 2023.
But I'd also humbly submit to you, you got one in your midst that served over 21 years in the U.S. Army and deserves to be recognized as well. That would be Eric Wilmar. Chicken? Well, do it anyway.
This is indicative of veterans that are very humble. They don't want to be recognized for their service.
I wanted to say that he served on the council the first year I was mayor. And he was out, I don't know how, if I knew what I was doing, if you knew what you were doing, particularly representing the fire department. And he was an outstanding member for 2 years, back when we had 2-year terms. But I'm very happy I grew up with your wife, and I'm very happy we're honoring you.
All participate in that. Thank you.
And the proclamation is doing photographs.
Yeah, they gotta get one.
We usually get your photograph up here.
And to get a photograph.
Now, once you stay there, come on out.
So you can work in the council. Yes.
Come on, Mayor Sue.
Come on, get a minute.
He can come up just a little bit. Stop moving just a little bit, Christine. There you go. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Here's 3. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Someone. Yes, I shoot films. Thank you.
Mike's name will be on the sign out here for the entire month of July until we have our next dedication in August.
Okay, let's, this time, ask you to stand, and I'm going to ask Mike to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we need to approve our agenda. Pull this closer to me. Approve our agenda. Any changes needed on that, Eric? Okay. Got to have a motion to approve our agenda as you have in front of you.
Motion.
Okay, motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if Annette's voting or not on the phone, but,
Am I allowed to vote on the phone? I thought I was being allowed to vote if I wasn't really there.
well, you express your opinion.
So I approve.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we'll move on to appearances. We had someone that was going to speak to us tonight, but she is ill. And so we'll do that another night. So at this point, I'll run on to Eric for announcements.
They had signed up to speak.
Well, okay. Sometimes we moved at the end. Well, let me move on to the people that have, I need to learn to say your names. But Bobbin, you want to address the council?
Public comments before we begin.
Okay.
All right. Good evening to everybody. I just want to review the city's public participation policy. The mayor and city council members and the city staff They appreciate your comments, and they would like to hear all of the comments that each of you who've signed up to make, in fact, do make. So the City Council conducts these City Council meetings for a number of different reasons, and one of those is to hear public comments. And so we ask that you respect the 3-minute time limit that's part of the participation policy of the city, and permit the council members and the mayor and the staff to hear the comments being made by being respectful to others. Please understand that this is a business meeting of the City Council, and therefore we ask that you conduct yourself accordingly. Now, based upon my review of those who have signed up to speak, I don't think we're going to have any problems in this regard, but speakers are not permitted to discuss issues that would be related to the city's potential real property acquisitions, personnel or employee matters, or matters that are related to zoning cases where the public hearings have already been heard or conducted by the Cherokee County Planning Commission. So when you start, we ask that each public speaker please state your name, and remember to make your remarks, make your public comments to the council as a whole. Do not direct your comments to any individual council member, and do not make any obscene, derogatory, or slanderous comments. The public participation policy permits any council member to stop public comments at any time, and understand that no individual will be allowed to disrupt or otherwise interfere with this council meeting. So also please understand that your remarks they will end when your allotted time has expired. It is appropriate for council members or the mayor or staff members, the city manager, to ask questions to obtain clarification. But no person is allowed from the floor to enter into any discussions either directly or through any member of the council.
Okay. Thank you. When I first went through this list, I gave Robin's name first, so let me call Robin to speak to us.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the council, for letting me have this opportunity to speak, and my name is Robin Ray. I just wanted to let you know, as a longtime resident and a dedicated employee to the Chevron station that's located at 155 Howell Mill, I stand before you to express a heartfelt support for the approval of the liquor store on our lot, because we have that building and we have the space down there. Over the years, I have witnessed the transformation of our community, and I've been privileged to be a part of it. And I've seen firsthand the tireless efforts that we've made to improve our gas station with upgrades and enhancements, from the brand new pumps that ensure efficiency to revitalizing the parking lot that provides a smoother drive for our customers. And we strive to create welcoming and a safe environment for everyone that visits us. Now that we have the opportunity to take another step forward by replacing and expanding the old car wash into a liquor store that would seamlessly match our existing building, which is a grocery store, this new establishment will not only meet the community's needs for a conveniently located liquor store, but it would contribute to the efficiency of the traffic effectiveness on that corner. Moreover, our community, our commitment to responsibility and community oriented operations is unwavering. We will implement rigorous measures to prevent underage sales of alcohol and promote responsible alcohol consumption, and actively engage with the community through sponsorship and local events and the initiatives. As an employee who has lived in the community for as long as I can remember, I urge you to consider the approval of the liquor store across the street. I urge you to reconsider the approval of the liquor store across the street and instead grant permission for us to propose the liquor store on our lot. By doing so that we will preserve the natural beauty of the area and enhance the charm we hold so dear in our town and provide a valuable service that aligns with the needs of the community. Thank you for your attention. And I am more than willing to address any concerns and additional information to support our cause. Let's just work together and to ensure a brighter future for our beloved community. And I don't do public speaking, but thank you for letting me do this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Bobbin? We got, this is Patel.
Yeah, Ravin/Prashant Patel. Can I
just make the one.
just one
Both
representation?
name on the one application.
Okay, well, who's going to speak?
Prashant.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, council members, today granting me an opportunity to speak in front of you, everyone. I'm here to support and the granting license for the liquor store that is Sopan Ballground LLC that is on 8051. As a part of this liquor store application and the development that's going to happen over there, I think the plan has been submitted to the city council members, everybody. It's not just a liquor store that we are going to be developing over there. It's the 3 different businesses that are going to be coming in. One, a dry cleaner, a liquor store, and a bar and a bistro, which is on a second level with a unique experience of a rooftop. Having said this, with this new project that we are trying to bring into the town with a lot of other developments that are happening already that everybody's seeing, this is a unique development. It's not just a real estate development of housing. It's a commercial development that gives an opportunity for the people of Ball Ground and the surrounding cities to come visit the Ball Ground and experience the tourism, the historic Ball Ground that it offers today, right? Not just the new development, but the Valley Street, the Gilmer Ferry, all the establishments that are out there. This establishment would give us an opportunity to bring us as a new residents to the town, not just the business, but being a new resident to the town. And as a part of this, we are committed to give back the community of Ball Ground. It's a new greenfield development. It's not just, using that old building and doing and refurbishing it. Building a legacy to that corner, could be just any other development, but hey, we are going to bring a unique development over there. And of course, it's not less than that, but it would create new jobs for all the businesses wherein that's going to attract more people to come in, right? I would strongly request the council members to grant an approval for the building, the permit for that, and allow us to proceed with the whole project over there. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you for your comments. All right. Munir? McHoney?
McJohnny. Close. I like it, though. Hello, City Council. My name is Munir McJohnny. I'm a licensed commercial real estate agent in the state of Georgia and a co-owner of the Chevron and Ball Ground off of Howell Bridge. I'm here today in hopes of urging you to reconsider your approval for the liquor store on 8051 and instead grant permission to our proposed liquor store on the Chevron property. Our commitment to this community runs deep, since assuming the operations of Chevron Station, we have invested a substantial resources exceeding $200,000 to bring about significant improvements. These enhancements include the installation of brand-new efficient pumps, which I'm sure everybody is happy about, including us, the revitalization of the parking lot, and the update of both the interior and the exterior aesthetics. We have even addressed underlying issues like damaged water pipes, which were causing substantial waste to us and the city. As co-owners, we understand that our establishment serves as the gateway to Ball Ground, greeting visitors with a warm and inviting atmosphere. That is why we have taken great care in maintaining and updating our landscaping, ensuring that our station harmonizes with the natural beauty of our surrounding. Today, the proposed liquor store at 155 Howell Bridge that would replace and expand the old car wash. The design of this store will seamlessly blend with the existing property store, creating a cohesive and visually pleasing corner for the community. The convenience store of having a liquor store and adjacent to a grocery store will also enhance the efficiency and provide a valuable service to our residents. Furthermore, I would like to emphasize the collaborative effort we have undertaken with the city's planning and zoning. Invaluable input has shaped our plans, ensuring that we comply with all relevant city and county regulations. The architect we've hired has diligently revised the designs and added the necessary approvals and statements of adjustments, of thoughts, of anything that we can do to improve from the planning and zoning, and will help us move forward rather quickly, as we've already submitted our plans to engineering as well. We also had submitted these plans a lot earlier, but unfortunately, due to the new submission system with the liquor licenses in Georgia, something had an error, and as a result, had to resubmit our plans at a later date. We envision our establishment as a safe and welcoming environment where residents can make their purchase responsibly. Considering these points, I kindly request the City Council to reconsider the approval of the liquor store part of the 8051 Ball Ground and grant permission for our proposed establishment. By doing so, we will not only serve the needs of our community, but also preserve the natural beauty and the charm that make Ball Ground a truly exceptional place to live. Thank you for your attention and consideration. Should you require any further information, we're happy to have those conversations and provide it. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Munir.
Thank you.
So everybody's spoken now. I call you Mike.
First of all, I would like to say thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, to give me opportunity and all the council members to here to listen to me. My name is Zulfikar Pirani. I stand before you today as a part of owner and operator of the Community Chevron convenience store across the Waffle House on 155 Howell Bridge Road, urging your support for the approval for the proposed liquor store and would expand our old car wash. Since taking over operations, we have spread no efforts in improving the establishment, with the investments totaling almost about $200,000, improving new pumps and putting bright lights to have more safer environment around our location. We have also recognized our role as a first impression of Ball Ground who those arrive in our town. To this end, we have maintained and updated our landscaping, blending seamlessly the surroundings and atmosphere, our commitment to being responsible towards our community. Today, we seek your reconsideration in support of proposed liquor store at 8051 Ball Ground Highway. Instead, consider establishment which will begin perfectly with our current grocery store at 155 Howell Bridge Road, Chevron gas station. Preventing the uniform style, we have worked hard to establish more of our inconvenient location alongside the grocery store will provide a quick stop for the community, enhancing efficiency and meeting needs of our resident. As a part owner and operators, we are committed to running a responsible and community-oriented establishment, preventing underage sales, promoting responsible alcohol consumption, and actively engage with the community through sponsorship of local events and initiative are just a few ways we will contribute to the betterment of the Ball Ground. In light of those facts, I kindly request the city council members to reconsider the approval of the liquor store at 850 Ball Ground Highway and grant permission to our proposed establishment. The drawings and plannings is already submitted to the city. By doing so, we will not only provide a valuable service, but also maintain the natural beauty and surroundings and foster the continuing growth of the prosperity of our community. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to express our concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that completes the people that I had signed up to speak. Let me ask anybody else want to address the council at this time. We normally do that if you hadn't signed up at the end of the meeting. Okay. And thank you. At this time, I'll move now to the appearances, the agenda, things going on you're going to tell us about.
September 9th is Guardians of the Jukebox in City Park. That was the biggest hit we had last year, I think. October 7th will be the Ball Ground Rocks Festival, just to take off on barbecue and brews. We are working on the 2024 events calendar now, and I didn't get to update the slide, but for mayor and council, we received this afternoon that Roberts Lake Trail and Roberts Lake Park has received the 2023 Historic Preservation Award from History Cherokee. The banquet for the awards will be on August 10th at 7 p.m. So if anybody would let me know, we'll get you registered if anybody wants to attend and awards banquet. That's all the announcements.
Isn't that our council meeting?
I didn't even look. I just got that and had the date. About that. Well, and Beth Ingram said she'd be glad to accept the award on our behalf. So, but I think maybe if Chris is available that night, we'll let you double and you and Sarah go and get the award for us and bring it back.
No problem accepting awards.
Maybe we should ask them to come up here and do it at our meeting. Of course, they have a big dinner. Don't know that it'll be the same. Okay, anything else to bring up? Okay, let's now move to approval of the minutes from our June meeting. Council members have received those minutes. Any changes or questions? If not, a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Scott. Second, Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. You do a good job on the minutes. Of course, you had, how many years of experience have you had doing it? 30?
Eventually get it right.
Okay, we'll move to item 7, old business, and that is the application for the retail, the liquor store. Eric, you want to give any background to how we actually consider applications and the change we've done as far as liquor stores and where they can be and how many there can be?
Recently, I guess probably close to a year ago now, council adopted a new ordinance that put a distance limitation on liquor stores. A liquor store had to be properly zoned and a minimum of 5,280 feet from any existing liquor store. Things were quiet for a while, and then all of a sudden we got 3 applicants that wanted to put liquor stores in the city. That no longer comes to the city first. There's a process where the applicant has to go in to the state portal, upload their application, put it in, the state kind of gets the first take on it. We had one applicant come in, submit, made it through into the state portal. We had a second applicant then come in to the state portal and a third. So our policy is we take them in order of submittal, whoever's in that state portal first. The state rejected the application for the first applicant, so that one went away. So now we have moved to the second applicant, which is this here, and now you have heard this evening from our third applicant that's sitting in line, depending on whatever action is taken this evening on this store. There was a presentation at work session. It was a question and answer session. I'm sure the applicant would answer any questions anyone has this evening. It is so, as I understand from council members, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but what I've heard is even to consider, they would want a condition of license. That this is other than the small building, that this is a one-phase project. That the restaurant, the liquor store, the dry cleaners are built at one time and certificate of occupancy at one time. Not understand that there was a smaller building that may or may not be developed in the future if there is a coffee shop or some type of user for a small building. Is that correct?
The intent is to develop the small building as well, but it's going to be phase 2, probably 18 months down the line after the certificate of occupancy is received.
Right, but the initial 3 businesses
Will go
together. And is that a condition, if they should approve your license, is that a condition you're willing to accept, that those 3 are done together?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I've heard restaurant, I've heard sports bar. Which is it going to be?
So restaurant and sports bar is very, widespread, terms in terms of what I see it. And as well as there's a very small thing which we see that sports bar, when you look at it, it's more of engagements, games, TVs, that kind of thing. But what we are looking up here, and we would like to pivot to a more of a family engaged, where people, not just adults, but the kids can also come in and engage themselves. And that was one of the reasons where in the presentation, we had requested a little bit extra time to proceed with the creek delineation to regain that space. So that space can be given back to the outdoor activities for the families that are coming in with kids and other kind of things. So it's not going to be a typical sports bar, but drinks would be served like any other restaurant, ma'am.
It's still up in the air though with the little land property, the what is it, the creek?
No, it's the plans of, the construction plans of the structure of the building is finalized. We are not going to change that. We are not going to expand more than that. So even if we win back the land from the creek with the 25 feet, I believe, with the impervious surface, it will be given back as a recreational area.
Okay.
Right, like cornholes, swings, something that people can come enjoy, sit outside and do that.
So it's really going to be a sports bar?
Don't want to, but we had that thought when we started this concept, that's why it is written out there. But it's going to be more of a restaurant where every age group can come and enjoy in it. It's not just limiting to one set of age group or one set of audience.
What's the percentage of food outside of downtown?
50 or 60%. I don't recall.
It's higher than it is downtown.
It is higher than downtown, yes.
Right. So in other words, we can't have a bar. We can't have it anyway, but.
Legal counsel's looking it up right now. Give us a
When you say
percentage.
sports bar, I think of, are you familiar with Sidelines in Canton?
Yes.
that's what I think of as a sports bar. Is that what your interpretation of a sports bar is? Because they have all the TVs to
Correct.
watch the games and...
That's what originally the thought is when we started this concept. But the more we talk, the more I move around right now in the TV. One of the things that I lack with my kids when I come to ball ground, it's difficult for me to go and sit in a restaurant with the kids and enjoy with them. So that's the reason why I would like to pivot and also make it into a bistro. I think that's what I have said, sports bar / bistro, right? Change it in that way so that it's just not limited to one set of, age group.
And I know you had said before you wanted an area in the bar, or not the bar, excuse me, the restaurant, maybe like a gaming area for the kids,
Yes.
that they could do some video games and things like that, a little area for...
Yes, we are still on that. We are not giving up on that.
Mr. Mayor, 60% food sale requirement.
Okay. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think
60% in
Got to be
outside
60,
downtown.
it can only be no more than 40% alcohol. It's got to be 60% or higher food sales on the revenue.
So, any other?
Share one thing if I could. A lot of the people that talk in Ball Ground, what they're looking for is a very nice restaurant. Steak, baked potato type sit-down restaurant to eat, and we do already have somewhat similar sports bars. And, in Canton, you've got Taco Mac and things like that, they're sports bars. But I know for a long time, people have been looking for that nice, also a quality, doesn't have to be a 5-star restaurant, but something like that. So just a thought to,
So
you're deciding what to do there.
As I said, when we started that concept, putting up things together, it was a sports bar, but then the closer I get to it, right? Because every time I get my kids here, I have to do a to-go. Let me just say that, right? There is not a distinct place where kids can sit and eat, except, sitting outside near the pizza places in the downtown or other places, right? So that is where, kids, yes, they are there. They are always there in the parks, events that are happening in the parks, but it's very difficult to have kids and the family at one place and enjoy, which I see that is missing in ball ground, and I would like to bring that. So pivoting from sports bar to Bristol or a restaurant, yes, that's what it would be on the plan. Right.
Chris, we have all the latest updates on what's being planned?
We've received the concept and reviewed the concept. That's a conceptual review. It's no more than a few-page submission. At a later stage, the applicant would make a full-blown plan review submittal, where we would look at the engineering, the utilities, landscape plans, all of that, and do a thorough review. But for purposes of the alcohol application, I think the concept generally meets the zoning requirements.
Okay, anything else? Any questions? This first, we did the first reading last time. So at this time, if there are no more questions, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the second reading of the application for this liquor store.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Chris. Second? Scott?
Could we ask for an amendment to the motion to stipulate that that are done at one, that those three buildings are built in one phase, and I would suggest that the building proposed is the building built. So
Yes, with those stipulations, motion to approve the three buildings, one phase, as was submitted to be built.
You want to second it, Scott? Okay. Any other comments, council? All right, go ahead and let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye. I oppose.
Okay, one opposed, three present, 4 and 1 by phone. So it did get approved. Thank you. That's the only item of old business we have. Let's move now to new business. The first is consider a resolution to adopt the 2023 comprehensive plan update. In the past, we got DCA and ARC we sent it to them, and now we have to do a resolution. Okay, motion by Scott.
Second.
Chris? Any comments? Oh, go ahead.
I do want to recognize Chris for just a lot of hard work on putting that together, getting that moved along. And there was a lot of information. The public participated as well, so the citizens as well. I think for the future, as long as it's followed, it's going to be a good, very good benefit to the city.
Okay, we vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. So we'll go forward to pass on the resolution that's required. Next item under new business is adoption of a 2023 fee schedule. There's some changes being made and some based on our budget. But Eric, you want to give a brief summary of the changes?
Yes. Several increases we're asking for this year that were not included in the budget. We've had a problem recently with discovering some illegal connections to our water and sewer system. People that just go out and tap a line and run free water. The maximum fine the city can set on this or fee is $1,000. We're asking that to be set at $1,000 for both water and sewer illegal connections. We're asking for a $750 water tapping fee. This is if a new lot is developed in the city, or I should say an existing lot is developed, they pay the same capacity fee as a developer does in a new neighborhood. The difference is in a new neighborhood, the developer does all the work. In the core of the city employees go out, excavate the line, provide the equipment, tap the line, run a service, set a box and a lid. So we're asking to set a fee for the first time. We've always done that at no charge. We're asking for a charge of $750. Usually takes 4 to 6 hours for them to accomplish that. Swimming pool permit fee, we're asking to go from $100 to $300. Our third-party inspector is now doing 3 inspections on swimming pools. They'll do their initial, then they'll do the bonding and the final. So we're paying them to go out 3 separate times. $100 doesn't cover it. Community building currently leases for $250. We're asking to keep that at the same rate for city residents. We're asking to go to $350 for non-city residents. The gymnasium, we're asking to do the same for parties or non-basketball events at the gymnasium to set it same as the community building. Puts much more wear and tear on the facility. And the last one on the licensing fees, we're asking to go from $450 annual fee to $500 annual fee for our breweries, our wine rooms, our growlers. We have no growlers, but if somebody did, make that change.
Would that apply to if we ever moved into a distillery?
I think the license, I'll go back and look. I think we already have a license fee for a distillery of $1,250 or $1,500. A higher fee on a distillery.
Okay, any questions or comments from council members?
Do we have to approve each one or as a block?
As a block.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the new schedule of fees for 2023 with the additions.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further comments? You have a comment, Annette?
No, I just
Okay.
turned off mute so I could say I approve.
Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have 5-0 is a vote. All right, next item under new business is, it's a pre-application, submitting a pre-application for funding from the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, Land and Water Conservation Fund. Eric, you want to detail?
This is a
Purpose of this?
application asking for $125,000 towards development of a splash pad in Calvin Farmer Park. We're really looking at this as a first run for a later application that'll include many more things. This application did not score well, so we have learned things that we can do over the next 12 months before the next cycle to make it better. But in the event that there's not enough applications at the state level and we make it through that round, then they'd give us money if they didn't have enough applications. It's called a pre-application because if the state approves us, it then goes to the National Park Service, Department of Interior, and then we compete at that level. So we'll know whether or not the state recommends us October, November. Last time we went through a cycle, then it was about a year after finding out from the state, we found out whether the National Park Service blessed it or not.
How much is this application?
$125,000.
Or splash pad?
No, it's a 50%.
I will add, after being at the GMA and the Georgia Parks and Rec training that we took, I think everybody's applying for a splash.
Everybody's applying.
It's become the thing, so who knew, right? It was such a big thing.
If that grant is approved and presented, is there a timeline that has to be spent or implemented?
Be honest with you, I didn't see any comments in there on it. Our previous success with this grant's been for land acquisition. And for land acquisition, we were given 18 months to complete the acquisition. So that's how the initial portion of Calvin Farmer Park was purchased, one of these grants, and then Roberts Lake Park. So those were land acquisitions, not development projects. So don't know what that timeline is. Be a minimum of a year.
So
before we would know.
Yes, we would know.
Right.
And you think we have less of a chance of being approved this time than what we've learned?
I'd be sadly mistaken. I mean, I'd be tickled to death if we got the grant, but I don't see we have an opportunity, but I see that we get the City of Ball Ground, Calvin Farmer Park, splash pad, and other issues in front of them this year. Most of the grant cycles we've done, Roberts Lake, we were good on the third attempt. So it's starting to do it, keep your name in front of them.
Right.
Well, if we get it, maybe we can ask the county to join us in building it. So there'll be county people in there.
Some sponsorships that would like to donate towards it.
Well, that, again, personally, splash pad, I think would bring a lot of young people in that don't want to play baseball, because that's really about the only thing we offer for young kids. Might even see us out there in the water.
Have a work session there.
Yes, but again, it would be a unique thing to have. Hopefully, over time, we actually can get a grant to
It would enhance our
forward.
park area nicely, along with
I
other
agree.
things that we want to enhance it with.
Okay, so have we voted on it? We have not. Could I have a motion to approve the submittal of the pre-application?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Chris? Vicky? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Okay, we'll move forward with that. It's unanimous. The next item is a request by Mr. Woody Snell to remove part of the rezoning for property was to put in a turning lane on Old Dawsonville Road. Eric, you want to give details on that?
I think that everything was covered pretty good in the work session. Initial thought was in a zoning condition is no building permits could be issued until a center turn lane was established in this segment of Old Dawsonville Road. The engineering study was then done, 66 units, and with the site distance there, in the width, from an traffic engineering standpoint, the center turn lane is not required. If it is upheld for a center turn lane to be done, there will be a significant delay in the project, as we would need to get authorization to pipe additional segments of the stream through Calvin Farmer Park, because that would be moving. One of the engineering concerns was also a safety issue for northbound traffic, because everybody's used to taking that northbound lane. They're the ones that would now have a new lane. So traffic turning left, if they're stopped in a turn lane, most people are accustomed to just driving straight. Northbound traffic would have to go to the right, go around, come back in. So Mr. Snell is here if anyone has any questions of him.
My only question that I have, what I asked last time, but just to reconfirm, for the entrance into the development, you're still going to have somewhat of a decel and an XL on that? Right, okay.
Okay, again, I was not at the work session last week, so I know, Woody, you were here, right? So council members all spoke with him, and if that's the case, could I ask for a motion to approve the request?
I'll make a motion to approve the
Okay.
request.
Second.
Motion by Vicky, second by Scott and Chris. Double second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. So you don't have to build a turning center lane now. Would that not have taken over part of our sidewalk, and would it widen the road
Oh, yes, it is
into our walking trail? It would have.
close.
Good. All right. Next item to cover is consider surplus of property in Lantern Walk. This is property we've spoken about the work session, but again, Eric, if you would just update us for our people here.
And correct me if I have anything wrong. I believe it's the intent of the city to declare a lot that they own in the Lantern Walk subdivision as surplus. It is a non-buildable lot and currently contains a sewer line that serves the adjoining neighborhood that was originally going to be part of Lantern Walk. So that's why a road was stubbed and dedicated to the city, then ended up developing separately. So we still have utilities in there it cannot be built on. It's, I believe, the intent to declare it as surplus, open it up for sealed bid, advertise it in the legal organ, with the city attorney preparing a deed that would go with the surplus notification that a successful bidder would need to sign, stating that it is a non-buildable lot, that the city retains full access for its utilities, full easement access, and I believe from the conversation that it was restricted for green space, is what would be in the deed. So,
But before we can sell the property with all the restrictions, we have to declare it a surplus.
and nobody may want it with all the restrictions. We'll just have to go mow it once a week, and we've not been doing well at that. So, we need to.
Okay, could I get a motion to declare that property as surplus?
I'll make a motion to declare that surplus that property.
Okay, Vicky, second?
Second.
Dennis? Let's vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that sounds all like five of you, so we'll move forward on that.
And what we'll do, legal counsel will draft a deed, and following that, then we'll get it out to bid.
Okay, next item is an item we just had a public hearing on, and that is consider the adoption of the millage rate for 2023 property tax. Recommended 3.938, which is the same as last year. Given the meetings we've had already, I think I might just say, or at this point, could I go ahead and get a motion and a second before that we have any further discussion? Motion to approve as submitted. Scott, second?
Second.
Chris? Okay, at this point, council members, do you want anything you want to add or comment on to as why we are accepting
I wouldn't.
this?
It's important to note here, and I think we did that at the work session, that assessments are not made by the city, they're made by the county. And we need to continue with the services that we have in the city right now. It was our desire, I know several of us up here, to go 24/7 with the police department. That didn't happen this year because it would have cost more of a tax increase. So we backed off of that. We're all hit with the same issues, inflationary. We go to the grocery store, we go to the gas station. Those costs hit us too, as far as the city. So we're all dealing with it. All of us up here are going to have a property tax increase. Thank goodness it's not as high as some places, but it's just the times we're living in. And, I just wanted to make my personal comments on it. I don't like having to pay higher taxes either. We do have good services in the city, and I want to see it at least keep that level.
I would add also, and not saying it won't, it's still going to be a tax increase. But just in the last 2 weeks, we got our last numbers this afternoon, just before 5 o'clock. So the appeals process is going through, it's working. The digest that we have revenue on is down $2 million in the past 2 weeks because some of the appeals obviously are being successful. What we had projected revenue about when we talked at the work session was about $890,000. It's down to $879,000. 8,000 appeals still being processed.
A total of 8,373 appeals.
So
not all of those have been entered yet.
This number will continue to shrink. Our revenue will get further away from the budget line. As you mentioned, Mr. Nelson, we've gone away from adding everything we were going to add just to keep it coming down. But that number will continue to shrink.
less tax if we had if we had adopted a lower rate?
Yes.
Because that is a lot to be coming down historically. But I think historically there's a lot that went up greatly this year. Okay, any other comments? Could we go ahead and vote on it? You have one more?
I do. I know Mr. Manning brought it up earlier, and we are working hard to bring in some viable business in some other areas that would help offset some of that to the residents as well. So it's not something that fell on deaf ears. I mean, we were, a few of us were at a conference in Savannah with 537 other cities, and they all had kind of a similar problem, but they're all working, gave some great ideas that we are looking towards and we're discussing.
Okay, could I go ahead and ask for a vote? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Annette?
She has she's dropped calling.
Okay. Okay, all in favor, everybody in favor, so that's unanimous, and we will move forward with that new millage rate. Okay, Eric, you want to address us with your
One more.
update? We have one more fire tax millage rate to approve. The millage rate for fire tax is actually determined at the county level. Our station here is part of the county system, and so at this point they have not adopted. There's a range that can be in, but they have not adopted yet. And what we're being asked to do is just go ahead and approve whatever is adopted, because we have to.
We have to pay it.
Yes.
No choice.
Which, it's in the 2 to 3 mil.
Last year it was 2.984 for fire. Talked to the county manager yesterday. They still have no indication at staff level what the Board of Commissioners will set the rate at. So what we're asking council to approve is to authorize Mayor Roberts to sign the documents for the tax commissioner at the identical rate established by the Board of Commissioners.
But there is a chance it could go up after they.
In speaking with the commissioners directly, I don't think anybody's thinking about going up.
Okay.
But
I thought there was a range when initially adopted that it would have to be.
it can't go over 3.5.
That's right.
There was a voter referendum to establish this tax back in the 90s. So.
Well, if it's 2.9, to be honest, to have a fire station here, full-time fire station in the middle of our city, if we were paying for it by ourselves, it would be triple or quadruple the amount. So, but could I ask for a motion to approve us going ahead and accepting what the county agrees to?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion, Chris. Second? Scott? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Good. Okay, now, Eric, it's your turn. Update us on everything you've covered since our last meeting.
Again, the fund balances for the close of our fiscal year, we're sitting with general fund at 987, splost at 401, fire at 14.8. Again, that'll eventually just be cut to the Cherokee County. It's a direct pass-through. Utilities at 1.2 million for a total of 2.6 million. Important to note that while our fund balance has done well this year and increased, our actual reserve capabilities have reduced due to expenditures. We used to have 7 or 8 months of reserve funds that the city could operate that long with no revenue. Well, the balance is higher. We've only got about a 4.5 to 5 month reserve fund balance now. Revenue and expenses for June. General fund revenue at $136,000 with expenses of $212,000. Year-to-date revenues around $2.1 million. Year-to-date expenses $1.9 million. SPLOST monthly revenue at $65,000 with expenses of $41,000. Year-to-date revenue $881,000. Year-to-date expenses of $657,000. Utilities revenue for the month was $322,000. Expenses of $150,000. Year-to-date our revenue is $2.5 million against expenses of $1.9 million. Again, these balances and some of the revenue, I have to remember, really helped us this past year with the American Rescue Plan funding that the city received. So some of these are really kind of false revenue numbers and everything that we're, this year we go back into just surviving on ball ground. Administration. Year-end inventory is complete. Again, a banner year for Public Works with 0 deficiencies in Public Works on inventory. The initial auditor's site visits complete. Year-end retirement plan review and distribution, and beginning work on the 2024 events calendar. On our capital projects, police station is completed as a project there. We did have, y'all were there, the open house. We did finish up with $104,000 over budget, or under budget. We have issued the notice to proceed, and they will begin the week of the 24th with a parking lot behind City Hall that will also connect Old Canton Road to the parking lot back here. That's going to run about $75,000. We will still, and that wasn't in, so we saved enough money to put in a parking lot we're going to do in the future. We'll use the remaining $30,000 to pay down the debt on the loan for the building. Paving and maintenance, the notice to proceed has been issued from Northridge Road. Estimate completion prior to September 30th. Mayor signed a LMIG grant application today asking for assistance from GDOT on that project. Old Dawsonville Road, power line relocation is complete. Notices have been issued to LJ Telephone and TDS Telecom to remove their utilities from the old poles, string them to the new poles so that we can get the old poles out of the ground. Gas install is finally complete. They've got a lot of cleanup work to do, but the lines are complete and connected. On the roundabout, we have verbal agreement in place for right-of-way acquisition. Conflicts with the curb cuts for the medical office building there seem to have been resolved. We're waiting to see that in writing, but we think that's been taken care of. And we're still on track for a December bid let. State Route 372 for the long-awaited truck bypass. GDOT has assigned a project manager. We anticipate a notice to proceed by late August. At that time, we'll do an RFP for services for engineering to do the actual engineering and design work. Again, we were given a grant by the Atlanta Regional Commission for $2.3 million, and Cherokee County will take lead on that project to get the design complete. Loading and unloading zone. Sketches were submitted to the railroad. We've received their comments back, trying to figure out, they're being addressed now. They're concerned with trucks parking on their right of way. So we've reached a compromise, and like the trucks that deliver there, we'll be getting measurements from their rear tires to the back bumper, so that we can assure our bumper stops don't get within 7.5 feet of the edge of the rail. So once we address all those, get them those measurements, they should give us the clearance to start on that project. Sidewalk extension on Valley Street across the railroad. The materials are due in on the 21st. The welder for the rail replacement will schedule his time once materials are there. Again, project budget of $45,717. CIP, we were in for about $320 because we've gotten away from the gates that we don't have to pay for. The annual lease agreement for the sidewalk, and that's one thing, it'll be an ongoing. Any place we touch the railroad, we pay an annual lease to the railroad. So every place we have a water line on it, a sewer line on it, sidewalk crosses, we pay a lease. So that lease has been approved through their real estate office, and we're in business. Mountain Brook Sidewalk Extension. This project is now officially moved into the right-of-way phase to begin acquiring right-of-way. So $1,039,000 project, about $408 a linear foot to construct that sidewalk. Stripling Street Stormwater Project. This is also in the capital improvement plan. The ditch will continue coming this way. They'll fill that base with gravel. It goes all the way down past the mailbox there at the bottom of the hill. They'll be building a retaining wall. If any of you are familiar with that particular segment, it's asphalt, and then it's a little bit deceiving, but it's probably a good 3-foot drop. If a car tire goes over to the edge, they're sitting on the frame of the car. So they're building a retaining wall there. Then we'll put curb and gutter on top of the retaining wall and get that on down the hill and hopefully alleviate our problems. The next one's not in our capital improvement plan, but we've been thinking weird ideas. Chris and I will make a site visit next week to the city of Dallas. They have just completed this aerial crosswalk that may be a solution for our Lantern Walk drive across to Coyam Holcomb that allows it to be at the intersection instead of the hybrid beacons further south. We were really shocked at the cost. This is 10 foot wide, 187 feet long for $642,000 installed. Put it in context, that's about a quarter of the price that the footbridge is that we looked at the fairgrounds in Cumming that did an aerial crosswalk. So we're going to meet with those folks and see if this is something that's feasible, and then present it to GDOT and see if this is something we can start grant writing for. Again, to put it in context, this is $100,000 more than the hybrid beacons would have been with no monthly electric bill, no lights to maintain, no anything else.
And if we went this route, couldn't we put ball ground on it and make it look?
Put whatever you want on it. We don't.
I've seen them, like
Yes.
that, and the designs that they do, they really.
Right. They do some nice
They do
things.
some beautiful work on them,
Right.
and it's very much a architectural design to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
As long as our residents can cross that road safely when the roundabout comes in and everything, it may be an option.
you've heard me talking about this for a while on the cellular read conversion. We're looking at a potential loan for $1 million to get this done. We would ask permission from the council tonight to actually remove this, at least for this segment, from the capital improvement plan. We've met, discussed on it. The installation quote is flawed, and they have not been willing to change their quote. Interest rates went up another full percentage point on us, so now they're quoting at about 5.4, which at $1 million gets into a really hefty payment. This is an important project to the future of the city, but it is not critical to our infrastructure. There's other places this money can be better spent. So we just ask for consensus to remove that from the capital improvement plan.
And you say we are actually changing that?
We're doing this internally. We have about 1,400 customers now, and we have almost 400 customers that we've already installed this ourselves on. So we will continue piecemealing this into the system as meters need to be changed. Every new meter going in the ground is this. So eventually, we'll get there without incurring the debt. Water purchase point, establishing another tie-in location on Old Canton Road. We are moving forward with this project, and we meet next week with folks from Cherokee Water and Sewer Authority. We will be using Trench Incorporated to make this connection for us, get us under Old Canton, under the railroad, and teed up to either get into Mountain Brook or the Pulte home if they transpire. But if not, we're going to continue to get that into Mountain Brook. This is a rough one, so this will be in, and it's not intended to be sarcastic at all, kind of in honor of Lee Prettyman tonight. Lee never closed a meeting without saying, "I just want to brag on my guys." That's what he always said in his time. And for those of you that don't know, Lee Prettyman, our former council member, passed away. But he loved his public works team and always wanted to brag on them. This is a picture of Joey Ingram. We had an issue again at Sage Hill, and he's in there suspended in a seat harness. You know, they pumped the wastewater out for him, but it doesn't smell good there.
Sure doesn't.
It was 90, 91, 92 degrees, and he's in a rubber suit. But when we checked in on him, was really proud of the team, done good. In the upper right-hand corner, you see the yellow hose. That's a fresh air duct source that they're blowing in on him. He was properly tied off. The winch was properly secured. He's got an air quality meter on his chest, and the team has really come a long way in what they're doing. These are dangerous jobs, very dangerous jobs, and nobody was the wiser for what was going on. They just fix it. Unfortunately, the next one everybody was aware of. On Friday, June 30th, the day that was Lee Prettyman's memorial service, several of us were out here on Groover Street. Atlanta Gas Light was boring in, or a contractor for Atlanta Gas Light was boring in a 4-inch gas line. They got the bore complete, but when they bore those lines through, when it gets to the other end, they put on a back reamer. It's about twice the size of the pipe they're pulling back. And when they did that, they came back through and lost track. They hit us either 4 times or 5 times. Groover Street is the most horrible street that we have. We have a 4-inch dedicated line from the well to the tank. We have a 6-inch line. We have an 8-inch line. The county has an 8-inch line. You can see that one's right next to fiber. The orange line is fiber, but they hit every water line we have. Crews finished up. They started about 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:45, finished up a little bit after midnight, went home to get rest. Next morning got a call from one homeowner that was still without water. Went back out, they'd also hit that homeowner's line. And water's weird, so there was no water out front, it was coming out behind the house down the hill. So they went back out and spent Saturday in the heat and taking care of it. So Public Works did an amazing job this past month. Been having a problem with water theft again, so we always ask our residents and council members keep an eye on fire hydrants. This is a secluded area. This was found by the police, but don't know if that'll play or not, but you can see there's a pretty good stream of water that's coming out of there and down the street. When it's in a secluded area, we lose a lot of water like this. The sewer capacity study, we continue to move forward. We're about 50% complete on that study, and again, we're doing that in-house. Parks and Recreation, the Pocket Park, sales will go back up next week. I think we've solved the pole problems. Furniture is assembled and on site. The fence behind the Burger Bus will wrap up tomorrow. The cafe lights will go up next week, and the stage down in the bottom should be complete in 2 weeks. That'll accommodate the small music groups. Roberts Lake Trail video, June 16th was a washout for us. It was rescheduled and shot yesterday. It'll be in production for 4 to 6 weeks, and then should be on our YouTube channel and on the city website, so that folks that can't make it out there can still see what we have to offer. Trail extension, the Eagle Scout has completed his portion of it. So cut in is 100%. They'll get back on mulching next week, and when the mulching is complete, we'll be able to open the trailhead downtown. Our fireworks show was a big hit this year. Heard a lot of comments that it was probably the best show that we'd ever had, so that was very, very good to hear. We've been talking a lot about economic development lately. That's a shot from just one of our downtown businesses. The line out the door and down the sidewalk. Little music and a little fireworks bring a lot of people, and is really a shot for our downtown businesses. Public safety, everyone has a copy of the chief's monthly report. Beginning at the next council member, Chief Reeves will actually be presenting a monthly report to mayor and council, and that'll come out of my segment. Calls for service is at 316, traffic citations at 34, ordinance violations summons still working on the 12. All 12 are in court, and court's a week from tomorrow. So PD will be visiting those properties again this weekend and this week, so that they can testify next week in court on where we are. Flock cameras, the 4 cameras have been ordered for installation that were on the grant for 4 points to the city, no cost to the city. Meeting with Flock, Comcast, and Infinity about possible cameras downtown to replace the ones that don't work anymore, but we used to be able to pick up a lot of things from those cameras. We get that, we'll bring that back for mayor and council consideration. Coffee with a Cop, August 2nd, 10 a.m. at Barrel House Coffee. Community development, with your approval tonight, the comprehensive plan is now complete. Get to do it all over again in 5 years. Preparing changes, still working through. We're going to try and get one good, solid, comprehensive alcohol ordinance that has everything in it. Cherokee County just finished theirs and adopted it, and I think a lot of good things. The city attorney's been working with their attorney, and a good package that we can get to look at. Initial parks concept for master plan shared with the engineer, and the fee review schedules. On the impact fee, the first methodology draft we should have by the end of August. They're complete with the parks assessment. They're complete with public facilities assessment. They're beginning now on the business and jobs assessments portion that is required with this study. Building permits, the month of June, we issued 31 this month compared to 30 with June a year ago. Last year we had a total of 94 permits issued. This year we had 77 to date with the rest of the year to go. This is really kind of skewed. It also skewed our budget because Lennar Homes is selling and moving so much quicker than we had anticipated. So budgets, permits we'd actually projected would be issued July, August, actually all got done in June for the end of the fiscal year. Active development report, we currently have 361 approved development lots, 79 permits active. Potential development. This is the track we've been talking about. Pulte Homes seems to be moving forward. This is behind Mountain Brook, just north of it, already zoned for 146 maximum lots. Chris, what was the number on their concept plan? They couldn't get to 146. They've gone back up. Okay. On commercial development, the potential package store and sports bar that you all approved this evening, the medical office complex, we'll see activity on that site next week at Howell Bridge Road, right next door to Lantern Walk. That's a 14,200 square foot facility that they intend to occupy on April 2nd. So they intend to move pretty quickly. Convenience store at the traffic light across from Regions Bank, still under construction. Infrastructure acceptance, on-site evaluations of Mountain Brook Phase 3 will take place next week. We're pushing Smith Douglas to try and wrap up their 2 neighborhoods. They've got Linwood on Cartersville Street. We're trying to get them finished where we can accept that infrastructure. We do have an issue that I'll be getting with legal counsel on. We were not able to accept 372 South. When they finished up their property lines and final surveys, they have installed water lines on private property. So they're either going to need to obtain easements for us before we will accept them, or they're going to need to move the water lines or something, but we're not going to bring that to council for acceptance as long as water lines are on private property. And that completes, sir.
Did a lot of work to have these presentations on the screen like this. You need to teach us how to do that, because I don't.
Just sit down with Chris for 5 minutes. He can teach you anything.
Does the public have access to be able to use a computer like that to show presentations?
Not this computer. If they want to do a presentation, up to mayor and council, they could bring their own and connect.
Okay.
But,
Okay, Eric, thank you. I want to mention, some of us went down to Savannah for the GMA conference, and when we do training, we go through training all the time, and over the years, I've taken so many courses that they keep adding new ones. So I went through 2 of them on water and wastewater management, and the other was an open meetings, the new laws of the state about how many council members can be together at the same time. But I'm gonna probably update some of that at work sessions. I wanted to ask Scott, what courses did you have?
I did Public Works and Economic Development and the
Parks and Rec.
Because those were some of the topics that we've been discussing lately.
Parks and recreational and parks. We cannot say Parks and Rec anymore. It's recreational and parks.
We drilled that in our head.
You want to add your?
And I did ethics, and I also took a course on Beyond the Beltway, which kind of helps with learning more about grants, who to push, to kind of get more funds flowing our way.
Well, it was I felt like it was a very, very good event to attend, and hopefully everybody can be there next time. GMA offers a lot of training, and I think they're offering some in Athens in August.
I know they're offering something in Dublin in August, the Small Cities Workshop in Dublin.
But they usually go around the state. Sometimes they're down at Jekyll Island. Sometimes they're up at near Blairsville, Young Harris. What's that? what's that hotel? Brasstown. I would encourage us to make sure we share the courses being offered around the state because it's very important. And you find out when you're around other 500 and something cities how our people are very professional, very educated too. There's some, particularly from South Georgia, that I don't know if they know what's going on, but that's just my opinion. But at this time, let me just go ahead and ask, Scott, do you have anything you want to add today? Vicki? Dennis?
I just want to echo Mr. Prettyman's remarks. Our guys, and not just the water and sewer, but everybody does a great job. And one thing I noticed Eric did not mention, in that photograph, he said that's not dirt on Joey's clothes. So that's the kind of job it is, and it takes a dedicated professional to climb down there and do the job that we don't want to do. They just do a remarkable job, and I commend them.
I just want to thank everybody for coming this evening.
We, if I'll tell the audience here, if you turn the clock back to when we opened City Hall here in 2009, we were accustomed to not having anybody. The previous, we were having our council meetings in the library because we didn't have room in the old City Hall. But when we built this, it was like, oh gosh, we just have like 2 or 3 people. And that's changed greatly in the last few years. And it's really good to have, it makes me think we need to enlarge it because we're full almost every time. So we appreciate you being here. Okay, Darryl, you have anything you want to bring up?
No, Mayor.
Karen? Well, it's 15 to 9 and it's not dark. That won't happen much longer. But appreciate everybody coming. I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, we'll vote on that, and I'll vote too. Thank you for coming. I need to tell Woody.